Welcome back to Agri Talk. Today I'm with Fibanda Vincent, a research assistant with APSID, and we've been talking about value addition, policy development, and environmental improvement programs that APSID is conducting. Vincent, let's go back to the training of farmers and go specifically to organic farming. Organic farming, some say, takes longer than to grow a crop organically than using synthetic fertilizer and the rest. So doesn't this affect the farmers in terms of they take longer to also make money from?
But you need to understand. You need to understand that once the food is produced organically, it has a potential to stay longer. So through organic farming and training that we have had different innovative ways whereby we teach farmers on vertical gardens, we teach farmers on conservation agriculture. So these are ways in which we don't depend on market, because the access of market and these other local products at the market could be having fluctuating prices. Because you need to understand that a local farmer in a remote region in Kenya could have problems in access to enough money to be able to purchase good food and nutritious food at the market level. So that's why we try to bring about and incorporate farming and also local farmers in matters to do with organic farming, because organic farming is safe. Matter of fact, organic farming is healthy. So this is just the way that we need to go, just to ensure that food security issues could be can be addressed.
Okay. Talking about safety and health, healthiness of these crops or these foods that are produced organically. Me as a farmer, my main goal sometimes is I need money and I need it now. So when my crop takes longer, that is a problem at that particular time. I may because I need money to do something, I may not see these benefits at that particular time. So how do you also help these farmers? Because planting crops is one thing, selling it is another thing. How do you help them get the market and get a good price at the end of the season?
Okay. Basically, the thing that you need to understand is that the first market is you yourself. So we are not supposed to be in a situation whereby we produce good food, then thereafter this food is either imported at the international markets, leaving us food insecure. So the issue of producing good food and also the issue of us consuming that food is a better aspect that needs to be understood. Because once we rely on issues about capital and money, you find that farmers could be in a situation whereby they produce food, yes, but all this food is either imported, or all this food could be sent to other markets, thereby enriching the food security in those other markets. Thereafter, you find that leaving us in a limbo situation whereby there's no good or enough food for us to be healthy and for us to be food secure. So we just need to understand that the first market is you yourself. That's why we try to train the farmers that as much as you produce food locally, you need also to consume the same food that you have produced in a healthy manner, because trying to bring the aspect of nutrition. Yes.
Okay. I still want us to keep there. Also, I've seen organic markets coming up. Even in this town, I've seen a number of organic markets that have really popped up in the last few years, and they're doing very well. I don't know whether you do the same out there in the country, whereby, yes, we produce organic, but we still take it to and mix it up with these other crops that were not produced organically. Is there a way that, or in your plans of starting organic markets for these particular crops or these products?
Yes, there are plans, and you find that organic markets are there already, and you find that we try to link the farmers with the hospitality and tourism industry, whereby all the produces that are produced organically can be channeled in the hotel and hospitality industries, so as to promote the issue of either the hotels going to buy foods outside that might be they could have no clear background on how this food was produced, on how this food was planted, and the production processes. So we try to link the farmers and try to create some of the markets of these food produces. And also there is a big concern about imports, because we have already gone the way of using chemicals and the other way of trying to use GMOs. You find that Kenya reaches a state whereby there's no food, there is hunger in the country, people are starving. So the only options being, the only solution is importing foods. So we try to import these foods that we have no background on how this food is produced. That's why we try to create local markets to some of these local farmers, so that these well-produced food can reach to the market.
Okay. We also rely on science a lot. And I've heard you talking about GMOs and all that stuff. But also in the same spirit of science came up with some of this. And they say these are the silver bullets to ending hunger around the world. But now, as we are saying, we don't want to go that way. We want to go backwards and do farming the old way. Produce healthy, eat healthy, but at the end of the day, our production is low. So how is organic farming working with science to make sure that also the production from organic farming is, yes, still safe, healthy, but still able to produce enough food for all of us, having in mind that the census for, I think last year, said we are almost 50 million people. So we need to produce food quick and fast. How are you training these farmers now, or working with science to make sure that these organically produced crops are also fast maturing and produce as well?
So basing on research and also the same state as you have just highlighted, there are different disadvantages of using GMOs and different of using some of these scientific modified crops. So those are the same disadvantages that we're trying to base on matters health issues. Those are the same disadvantages that we're trying to base on trying to promote issues about small scale farming. Because initially, you find that during independence, that is in the year 1963, you find that most farmers were producing food locally. But thereafter, in 1980, you find that most of these farms were now changing to try farm cash crops. So you find that the issue of bringing in cash crops and the issue of bringing in other modernized crops, we find that it reduced the level of small-scale farming and producing local farms products. So there, as we have gone after in the year 2010, as we were going into devolution, we find that most of these cash crops have not done well in most parts of the country. You find that there are so many politics about sugarcane farming in the western region of Kenya, and there are so many politics about coffee planting, tea farming. So the issue of bringing in cash crops tried to limit the access of farmers to produce this food locally. So the issue about science came in, but you're trying to pull it away, because we just want to go back in our initial state, whereby we used to produce food locally. Most of this food that was produced was of different varieties, and because it was of different varieties, it was able to promote the nutrition aspect. Okay. So basing on science, already according to research, there are disadvantages of using some of these scientific modified crops. Okay. And those are the same reasons we base on.
Climate change and global warming is also a very big issue globally. In your trainings, how are you trying to help farmers understand this, and that even through your organic farming, that all this has to be done because things have changed?
So basically, you need to understand that the issue of using fertilizers and the issue of using other modified crops, the level of carbon emission is too high. So we try to train farmers and we try to talk to them on the importance of using organic farming, because the level of carbon emission through organic farming and organic techniques is too low. And through global warming and other aspects of climate change and a change in the weather patterns, we try to talk to them about how they can try to come up with innovative ideas on how to curb the global warming aspect, because you find that most of these agricultural products, we try to invent some of these seeds that are either drought resistant, some of these seeds that could survive in low rainfall, because according to research you find that Kenya is dependent on rain-fed agriculture. So there is a way in which we need to try incorporate the issues about irrigation, the issues about different techniques, so that we can at least uplift food security issues.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you talk about the environment also, you also, APSID also work in Kajiado. That's where we started. And you provide seeds for grass seeds. Do you only provide grass seeds, and when it comes to environmental matters, do you also help them rehabilitate maybe degraded lands? Because we know in some of these arid and semi-arid regions, a lot of land has been degraded with the time. So how else do you help them improve apart from just giving the grass seeds, how else do you help them improve the environment?
So you find that we propose to them some of these drought-resistant trees to be planted in some of these semi-arid regions. We have got the acacia trees to be planted in some of these semi-arid regions. So we try to talk to them about the issues of incorporating tree planting and the issues of minimizing sand harvesting in some of these regions. So you find that already local residents in Kajiado have got information about how to restore some of these degraded land, either through tree planting and also through planting of these cover crops. Because you understand there have been issues about soil erosion. So we try to talk to farmers where we try to teach them on how to plant some of these cover.
Okay. Also, we all know Kajiado, the communities living in Kajiado are pastoralists. They keep animals. And the main issues over the years was overstocking. How are you helping them understand that overstocking is one of the problems you guys are trying to address by either growing more grass, planting trees, and rehabilitating destroyed ecosystems? How do you also teach them on that they need to reduce their number of animals they have and keep quality animals?
So basically, Kajiado residents, this is a marginalized region. It's regarded as a marginalized region. So we try to talk to them, and we have been training them on issues about trying different aspects on how to improve their livelihood. Because already it has been documented that Kajiado County is a pastoral community region, but you try to talk to them on issues about farming, issues about tree planting, issues about different aspects of trying to improve their livelihood. So through such trainings, Kajiado residents are already trying to incorporate some of these ideas, because you find that somebody could be having a large number of herds but could lack that money to buy enough food or to buy nutritious food, because you find that the level of which these people have good access to good money, either to buy vitamins, fruits from the market, is too low. So we try to teach them how they can try to plant and propagate some of these crops by themselves, so that it could reduce their level of over dependence to market access.
Okay. Also, in some of these regions, culture play a very big role, um, especially for the Maasai community. They believe um, having a lot of animals is wealth. And that is what has led to all these problems. So how also are you in your trainings able to train them on how some of these cultures are the ones causing all these problems?
So questions about culture is all about personal understanding. So once we have raised good awareness about different aspects of life, issues about culture will be minimized, because you find that most of these communities don't incorporate either women, the people living with disability, the children, or the youth in some of these issues. So we try to talk to them, whereby we try to bring an inclusive platform whereby every person is part and parcel of this solution. So some of these Maasai women have engaged in food cropping, have engaged in different agricultural food production system. So issues about culture is all about personal understanding, and once someone has a good understanding about culture, is well to go and is well to try incorporate some of these food security issues.
Okay. In terms of involving the youth, you've talked about youth and women, and you've talked a little bit about what women are doing. In these trainings also, do you encourage more youth to come for the training, and how has been the situation? And what are the challenges when trying to do that?
So a higher percentage of the trainees in some of these programs are the youth, because we try to give the youth a platform either through research and also to interact with these farm inputs. So the youth have been coming in either through trying to do a few research, because you find that at campus level or in their higher learning institutions, there are research projects that these youth are either involved in. So we try to bring them, and we try to incorporate some of these innovative minds from the youth. So the situation has been nice, because the youth are already understanding that there is no need of white collar jobs. The only issue is just sitting down, understanding yourself, and trying to gauge ways in which they can involve in agricultural production. So the issues about over dependence on white collar jobs has really lowered.
Okay.
Yes.
So as we wind up, what plans does APSID have going forward?
So basically, we will go on with the trainings, just trying to engage farmers in terms of policy formulation, in terms of budget making processes, because you find that already farmers have got information on different aspects of sustainable agriculture, whether through climate smart agriculture, conservation agriculture, organic farming. They have got this information. So the issue is all about involving farmers in some of these processes. So you find that issues about policy, most of these counties have not documented some of these policies, or have not come up with defined policies that can actually defend the need of food security. So we'll try to talk to farmers and also county administration in ways, different ways on how they need to come up with these like-minded policies to address food security issues.
Okay. In terms of expansion, do you look at, APSID looks at maybe going into other new regions, or Kajiado and Western Kenya is enough for now?
So we have been doing projects, different regions in Kenya right now. We have done a few projects in Kitui, Makueni, issues about food security. But also we will still expand, because we are only about 4 years in existence, since 2017 till now. So moving forward, we will still expand our territories towards other Kenyan counties.
Okay. Funding has also been a very big issue, especially for farmers, access to funds. Is APSID working with them to help them access more funding, new varieties of seed?
So The issue about finance and funding is a major concern because you find that the county government and the devolved units have not channeled or have not allocated enough money into food security and agricultural projects. So you find that their main concern is channel or allocating money into health issues, infrastructure development issues, and other issues. But we are trying to talk to either the county government and the national government to allocate enough money into this agricultural sector, because you find that I understand the national threshold is about 10% of the total annual budget needs to be channeled to the agricultural sector.
Okay.
And this threshold has never been met so far.
Okay.
But we need to work towards that.
Thank you very much, Vincent. We are very grateful that you came. We've been talking about value addition, policy development, and improving our environments. And Vincent is from an organization called APSID. He's a research assistant, and he has shared his wealth of knowledge on what they are doing with farmers, both in Kajiado and in Western Kenya. And as we go forward, we'll still have this conversation going forward. We'll still invite you later. But for our viewers back at home, that is it for today. Until next time, goodbye.